He's for the game. He's for the Viking. He's a big Viking. He thinks he's awesome.
Hey everybody, this is Lords of Rock, and Lords of Rock is a quick little card game that you play where each person is going to be representing a pantheon of gods that are forming a rock band who are then going to be playing at like some wonderful mythical venues like the Chichen Itza, or like let's try the Temple of Luxor, or the Parthenon, like Rocket at the Parthenon tonight, it is the Greek gods, what have you. So you can kind of picture the radio station ad, if you will. Each person has a distinct pantheon of gods that are going to be good at certain instruments, not as good at other instruments, and then you're going to get actually your like list of songs, your set list that you'll be playing. And then the set list is actually how you're able to kind of build up your band, playing songs that are going to satisfy the crowds, and also you're able to play nasty cards from your set list that's going to mess with the other players and knock them off their point totals, if you will. All along the way, basically what you're doing is you're fighting for it to have the most people like your particular songs and your set, so then you can collect their souls, which are represented by these little crystals, of course. So the hapless humans or whatever pledge their undying loyalty, and then you get to collect their souls in the afterlife, if you will. So like I said, it's pretty straightforward. The rules aren't going to take you a long time to figure out, but it is one of these quick playing fun card games that has a really fun theme and really fantastic art and a really, really good presentation, if you will. So let me go ahead and show you how the game is played, show you what it looks like, and then we'll come back here and I'll give you my final thoughts. Alright, let's learn how to play Lords of Rock. To begin with, you got to pick a first player, and the first player gets to pick which pantheon of gods they want to use for that game. You can determine that however you want, and then after the first person picks, and the next person picks, and so on and so forth. So we have the Greek gods, we have the Norse gods, we have the Egyptian gods, and we have the Mayan gods. So Zeus, Odin, Ra, and Quetzalcoatl. Well, I'm a Viking, so let's just go ahead and get rid of the obvious choices that I'm not going to pick for myself. And so we're going to go ahead and take the Norse gods. So each deck of gods has leaders. So in this case, Odin, obviously, is the All-Father, and so he's the leader. And Frigg is another leader. You can tell that by the little star. Each god on the bottom has their skills that they have. So Frigg is very good on the drums. He's worth a value of 7, and can do backup vocals technically with a rating of 2. Sometimes, like, because of the way the game will work, different venues that you'll be at, you won't be able to use certain skills. So while it might be useful to, like, min-max with, like, a 7 versus a 2, or if we get to, like, Freya, who's, like, a 5 on the guitar, but only 1 on the drums. So it's like, you're thinking, well, it's like that you want to take her as your guitarist, but, you might want to, think about taking Balder, who is a 3 on both the bass, that stands for the bass, and also 3 on guitar. So, like, he can be used in multiple situations. So, you gotta pick one of the leaders. So, let's go ahead and, like, where was Odin? I'll actually show you and see. So, Odin is like a 6 on vocals and a 3 on drums. So, because he's got that dual ability, we'll go ahead and pick him. Now, technically, he's our lead singer, so we don't need a lead singer anymore. So we can look through the cards. So we need a drummer, we need a guitarist, we need a bassist. And so we can't take the other leader as our other thing, so let's put that one away. And so we kind of go down the list, and so, like, looking for a guitarist, we're probably going to pick Thor as our drummer, just because that's cool. Let's just pick Thor. So Thor will be our drummer, and let's take, Heimdall as our guitarist. He's got a 4 in guitar and 2 in bass. And who's going to play bass for us? Well, Balder's a 3 and a 3. We already knew that. And Loki. Well, let's get Loki, just to sow some discord. And so there's our band. So appearing tonight, Odin, Thor, Heimdall, and Loki bring you the rock. All right, so that'll be, and other people will pick theirs as well from their gods. Okay, so each person is going to get 4 venue cards. Let me just take 4, and I might have to dig through and find some other things for you to see. But so the venues I have a couple of things. Well, actually, a few things. So they have a size, and this one is a large. You can tell with the L there. Let me see if I got a couple of mediums and large. I'll dig out a small and extra large here in just a second. So here's the Great Wall of China is hosting. It'll highlight. So the only things that matter, or the things that are going to count, I should say, are going to be the vocalist, the guitarist, and the bassist, and whereas the drummer, is grayed out. So in here, like in the Northern Lights, a medium, the vocalist and the drummer are the only thing that matter. Now, some of them will have like a little thing. With Victor the can draw one extra card for the next venue. Hand limit does apply. When you draw cards, you're not drawing venues. You are drawing new songs and things off of the set list, and I'll explain that in just a little bit. So, what happens is that the first player is actually going to be the last person to put a card down. They're called the anchor band. And so the next person to that person's left is going to pick a venue. So let's just assume, let's say they picked, we'll take Great Wall of China. So Great Wall of China is the venue. Now the other thing I want to mention is that this is the scoring over here. So you can see the first place person is going to score 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And that's if you have all 5 players. Obviously, if you don't have all 5 players, you're not going to score all of those. So that's the venue. Now, what each person is going to do is they're going to take their cards in their set list. And so each person starts with 7 cards. After you're done with the venue, you get to draw 3 cards. And you have a max hand limit of 10, though sometimes you will get certain cards and abilities that from the winner winning the venue or something that will allow you to change that. So, okay, so 7 cards. And on these 7 cards, they have little jokes, obviously. Existing after midnight, every acacius has its thorn, ha ha ha. All right, so if there's a plus button up here, or a plus sign up there, that means that this is a bonus, like you're adding to your score that's going to be at that particular venue. Did I get a minus? Okay, so if you get a minus, so this is a fat-fingered riff, this will deduct from the score for somebody. So, and the way it works is on your turn, you will take one of your cards. So let's say because of the fact that the bassist actually matters, we're going to go ahead and maybe not this one, because you'll notice this is kind of cool. At a medium venue, it's actually worth +2. So let's hold on to that until we have something else. So let's go. Do we have one that affects a large? No, just ones that affect medium. So drums don't matter, so let's not bother with that. And so let's go ahead and take this one. Flirting with Destruction. So it is +1, and this is like our set list, our song. So then +1 to bass. Bass matters. So you're going to put that face down so nobody can see that. Then it goes around the table again, and it gets to you. And maybe you're worried about somebody scoring back. So now you can play a negative on somebody else. This is going to be -2 to either bass or guitar. Usually it's going to affect well, because this one actually has bass and guitar. And if this was my opponent, like let's just say they put this one out there, as long as it's the plus, so they have that one out there in front of them, and this one's face down, you actually put that face up. Now you can have a maximum of 2 negative cards played on you during any certain venue. At any time as you're putting cards down for your set list, you can stop at any time and you can say pass. If you pass and somebody puts a negative card down on you, you have the ability to respond to that card by putting another card in your top. But after you've passed, normally you can't add another card. So going through here, drums don't matter. We're probably not going to score real well because we kind of want to hold on to these cards that are mediums, in case we have a medium concert coming up. So let's hold on to those, and so we'll just hold on to the one that's negative as well. So we'll just have the 1 card. We're probably not going to score real well on this one, but we're gearing up towards like a better concert the next. So what happens then is you will total up your total score. You look and see who your your lead singer. So in this case, Odin's our lead singer, so that's worth 6 points. Look at your guitarist. You look at our guitarist is going to be Heimdall, and he's worth 4, so that gives us 10. And then you look at your bassist, and that is 4, so we get that, and so that is 14. Now, Thor, his ability at drums don't count in this one. However, he does have a secondary ability of the guitar, and so we can actually add that instead and so we would get his 1 for that particular score. So we'd have a 6 plus 4 plus 4, 14, 15 for the secondary skill, and then we reveal our cards and we add another one, so we have a 16 total. Now, depending upon how well that scores, like say maybe that's good for 3rd place in this particular round, that'd be worth 3 points. You're going to take 3 of these soul crystals. You're going to keep those, and that'll be your running score of the particular game in this particular round. So let's just going quickly. Let's say somebody played the Northern Lights as the next venue. Both the lead singer and the drums matter in this one. So if we look, like, neither guitar works, but so Heimdall's not going to be able to help us at all because neither guitar is going to be good. But Loki, even though he doesn't have like his bass ability won't come in handy, like his drum ability will with 2, and so we're going to have 6 and then 5 for the drums, 11. So we're looking at a 13 right now. That's already been getting rid of. Oh, and I should mention, after you do a venue, you draw 3 fresh cards off the set list. So you have that. The max hand limit is 10. And so, so then, I'm not going to draw cards. Just quickly, we have 13. So maybe we look at our ones that are really good for medium. This is a good one for drums. So we're going to put that face down in front of us. That would give us a 15. And then maybe we'll go ahead and play. Actually, this kind of stinks. Neither of these medium ones actually are going to help us right now because of the fact that they're based off of the guitar, and the guitar isn't going to help in that one. But we could play Run Fast Cleopatra, and +2 to drums, put that down. So we have a total of 17 after we reveal. Maybe that's good enough for 1st place. And so 1st place is worth 4 points. So we're going to go ahead. And these are worth 5, the big crystals. So we'd have a total of 7. So we'll just go ahead and take the 5 and get 1 back. And that would be our score. Now this continues until whoever is the anchor band plays 2 venues. So you're going to have 2 complete circuits around the table. And whoever ends up with the most points will be the winner of the game, because of the fact that they have claimed the most souls, because the end of days is upon us, that sort of thing. The game plays fast, the big game plays quick, it has lots of cool art, it has a lot of interesting decisions to make, but let me talk more about all of that and a lot more in my conclusion, which I'll do right now. Alright, so that was Lords of Rock. Lords of Rock is a very, very fun card game. It's very, very straightforward, as I said. The rules won't take you too long to digest and be able to play, but this is, once again, a game that, you're not fighting the mechanism of the game. You're actually kind of going up against the other players because of the fact that you're kind of racing to get the most points, but also you're able to actually do something to mess with other people, to take them down, lower their points. And there is a timing thing that goes on with it as well, because if you have negative cards that you're going to be playing, you're kind of waiting to see what other people are doing, if they're playing, going to be playing lots of cards. If they pass, obviously, the rule states that if you play a negative card on them, they're able to respond to it. But if they pass early, it's one of those things where you can kind of bury them a little bit with some cards, to make sure that your particular god or your pantheon will be ahead of theirs, so you'll get those points. And there's also something to be said by the fact that once your turn, you gotta get to pick the pantheon, or pick the location, the venue yourself. And so you were able to pick that is going to coincide with your cards and kind of set yourself up in a little lead right away. And that's I think where the trick comes. When somebody's going to be playing a venue that is going to benefit them, your goal at that point is to make it so it isn't a benefit for them. Do something with negative cards. You're able to then put yourself in a position to beat them out as far as the score goes, and then you can then collect the souls for that particular turn. This game gets really, really nasty as the game's drawing to a close, because it is a set amount of turns, which is something I like. I do appreciate that you have a set amount of turns, because sometimes games like these can just keep going on and on and on while you're kind of waiting for those end conditions to be met. So when the game's going to be finishing up fairly soon, it's one of those things where each and every venue, each and every turn is very, very important. You can't just say, well, I've stacked with this one, I'm just going for the next one. No, most of the games I played end up being, just everybody within a few points of each other. And so you need to make sure that, you're getting, something. Those venues, when you do a small venue, when there's only 3, 2, or 1, and that's another thing as well. If you are ahead, you don't want to play a big venue one. You don't want to give somebody the chance to get 9, 10 points. You want to like play a small venue at that point. So there's some little intricacies and little fun little things and strategies that you can do. So there's a lot more to the game the first time I saw it. The first time I saw it, I was like, okay, this is a fun little game. And then after repeated plays, we kind of actually saw some different strategies and some different things that we could actually mess with. Now, I invite you to go ahead and check out the artwork. As I said, the artwork is fantastic for this game. It's very evocative. I went to a lot of Monsters of Rock concerts back in the day, and so whenever I saw the pictures, I remembered those moments in my younger years, if you will. So, I mean, I strongly suggest that you just, at the very least, take a look at that, because that is one of those things that really brings you in. And obviously, the tongue-in-cheek humor with all the funny little songs and what have you. I'll just grab one at random here. Like, here is, oh, that's, sorry, Lost Drumstick. That's not what we're looking for. But, Sister Egyptian instead of Christian, let's see here. Blinded by Our Light. So there's fun little jokes, little like humor, if you will, that is obviously very, very interesting and very, very adds to the game. It makes you chuckle a little bit, and then more than one time, players at my table, just would start humming the old songs, those old rock songs that we all know and love as well. So, if you are a fan of music, if you're a fan of like this kind of thing, you're definitely gonna know like whether or not you're gonna like this game. And the bottom line, though, a couple of guys in my game group, they're like, okay, let's play it, and they actually were very, very pleasantly surprised at just like how much fun they had playing it. So there you go. If you have any questions, the box is over there. Whatever. If you have questions about Lords of Rock, please ask away. I'll be happy to answer those to the best of my ability. As always, thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video. And until next time, I'm the Undead Viking, and I'm telling you to have yourself one heck of an awesome day. All right, bye-bye.